recording this, I only have just cast my vote, but I have also heard a very important bit of news here. And that news is that Windows 10 is going out of support, or actually it is technically out of support, but if you're running Windows 10 on a computer that can't run Windows 11, you can still get extended security updates from Microsoft for about a year, practically for free. So let's talk about what exactly this means. What does it mean to that Windows 10 is out of support? What does extended security updates mean? And also why you probably shouldn't do that. And instead, just like I did 3 years ago, you should just go and switch to Linux of some kind. So Windows 10 going out of support doesn't mean that Windows 10 will suddenly just stop working. However, it does mean that you will be more at risk from viruses and other malware, because those typically can install themselves using security vulnerabilities in your software. Now, when your software is supported by the developer will release updates that prevent malware from breaking in, among other things. But because Microsoft pulled the plug out of Windows 10, they said that they're not going to be providing support and updates anymore. So that's basically what it means, that you can still use Windows 10, just please do so with a computer that is disconnected from the internet, or else you're going to get malware and Microsoft won't be able to do anything about it, except in general, Microsoft always provides, when operating systems going out of support, it's now called Extended Security Update. Microsoft always provided what they called Extended Security Updates this time around. They basically just mean that certain businesses and institutions that have volume licenses can pay to get additional security upgrades for a couple of years to buy them a bit of time to upgrade. Now, for this time around, because Windows 11 has such fucking stringent security requirements, including the TPM2 and the latest gen processors, they decided to change that. Instead, also providing extended security updates to people who have upgrade and retail and OEM licenses. For these three, it's kind of important to know what they are. An upgrade license occurs when you transfer your license from Windows 7 to Windows 10 or Windows 8.1 to Windows 10. You've done an upgrade and the original license is still valid. A retail license is just what people get when they are building their own PC to install Windows onto that PC. They get a retail license, just a key that they fill in. And then there's the OEM license, which is what companies who are making PCs en masse get. They buy OEM licenses for each computer, and those OEM licenses basically just cover the computer for its life cycle. In the ESU program, those three classes of licenses also get extra security updates, but this time only for only 1 year. And that means that on October 13th, 2026, the days of Windows 10 are finally, definitively, absolutely no exceptions over for computers connected to the internet. Now, Microsoft wants you to upgrade to Windows 11. But this is a terrible idea. First, it's going to throw off your workflow completely with the center-placed Start menu. Now, that's already confusing, I'll see, but if you have a valid license, you can actually move that to the left. Problem is, they also decided to remove, I think, the basic search function and replace it with AI bullshit. And that Microsoft also replaced the old tile start menu that they replaced that with a new start menu that's based off suggestions and then has a button that brings you to a different page of all the apps. and you're just getting used to the idea of all your apps being in one row. So that's weird. Another thing they did with Windows 10 is, and Windows 11 as well, is privacy is over. Windows 11 will track your every move, even more so probably than Windows 10. And also Windows 11 is going to use that to train AI, most notably and notoriously Recall, which takes a picture of everything you do on your computer every couple of seconds and uses that to allow you to refer back. Well, that's what recent file search and browser histories are for. And they say it's still gonna be local, and only on computers which have a sufficiently powerful MPU. Two problems with that. First, I don't know for sure how long it will be local, and second, I've seen the computers with sufficient MPU power. Most of them are laptops with a finite battery life. They can't waste a lot of that training an AI when you have actual human work to do. So with that little rant out of the way, what can you do now, even when many computers don't support Windows 11 at all? You can try upgrading using the upgrade tools provided by Microsoft. They'll also tell you whether or not your computer is ready to make the jump. However, that is generally not recommended because you're facing even more privacy invasions. New laptops and desktops which can run Windows 11 are very expensive, and of course it can throw off your workflow in many ways. You know, Copilot, the right Windows key on Copilot capable PCs is now a Copilot button. And of course there's another thing. On my cellular laptop I do run Windows 11. I once had, I think it was 2 BSODs, one after the other, at the moment I started my laptop up for the morning. And I'm gonna blame you, Microsoft, for making a program that can do this at all. Programs are supposed to just work. No additional configuration, no trying to avoid those dodgy screens of death, which have now turned black, by the way. Just plain work. And one of those programs, or at least one of those groups of programs that just plain works, is Linux. And I've been running Linux Mint for about three years at this point, even more than that I think. And it's been smooth sailing ever since, especially with the old computer also having a little bit of a RAM issue when I replaced it. It's smooth as butter at the moment. I can definitely recommend it, and I've made several videos about some other reasons why, but just the fact that I've heard Linux is getting apparently more popular at the moment kind of shows the general user attitude towards Microsoft. And so what I'm saying here is, if you have a computer that can't run Windows 11, or even one that can and does, I would highly suggest you to just get on with apparently not that large number of people. Just switch over to Linux, see if it works for you. The only real reason that I can ever think of for not using Linux Mint, especially because it's very much like Windows 10, is because you use Windows specific applications a lot, and you just can't afford switching between the OSs to switch to have some non-Windows specific apps that can also work on Linux, and then to Windows exclusive apps on Windows, and you can't give up much processing power and memory for a virtual machine, which I've been using to run some Windows games. They work fine in it, and the Windows 7 even. So that's that. If you want to see a playlist in which I show why and how I upgraded to Linux on my old computer, just click the link in the video description, and there's another link to some pages on my website that I've made specifically about switching to Linux Mint and some of my favorite applications there. So see you there, or see you another time. Bye bye. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you do, please give a thumbs up, and share this video with all your friends, and perhaps consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.